Welcome back. Back up here at the property, July 28th. And this Friday and next Friday off to work on this. So I borrowed my uncle's four-wheeler. We got a few supplies in. No bush buggy, just packed it all on the four-wheeler. I did a bunch of final grade and a bunch of setting up with tools and stuff and getting some plies right here. But we're gonna go around with a grinder and cut off all of the rebar that's proud of our piers, and then I'm going to run up and get some of that pressure treated down here and try to square up an outside perimeter and then mark it all out so that we can drill in these saddles and epoxy them into the concrete. That epoxy wasn't cheap. I don't know how much I needed, so I bought more. So I bought a lot of it, and hopefully I can return a bunch of it because it was like $33 too. Anyway, there'll be a lot of measuring and figuring and squaring, and then I did buy, I believe these are 5/8 rebar, and I have a bit for the hammer drill, but if I don't get them square and stuff like that, you won't be able to twist them around because they pound in snug. So I ended up going 2 sizes bigger and went to a 1-inch bit in case I need to square things up in the slop of the hole, and the epoxy will hold it. But this is all first again for me, so we'll just figure it out as we go. And it'd be nice to have the outside perimeter all squared up and epoxied in. I'm not worried about the middle beam today. I'm sure it'll be, I'm fighting a bit of rain. I keep having to put the tools under the tables and bringing them back out, but we'll do what we can. Alright, so this is the game plan. I got these two trimmed down 3 inches because they'll be the 16-foot dimension widthwise, and then these are 32 feet long. So I set up the laser at that end, and I have the target at the other. Make sure these are in line. Mark this guy 8 foot in the middle. Gonna put some PL construction adhesive down on it, and then screw them in place. I'll do this one and the one on the other side, and then I'll have a single layer, if you will, all the way around, and I'll measure how far off all my piers are for getting the correct depth to drill on the stem. When I get a level on top of them and figure out the spacing, and then we'll pull off our frame. I'll also mark up square and put a Sharpie right on the concrete to the edge of it, and then measure in for the stem. So I get my, and then I'll start with a small bit and then get up to my 1 inch, and then because these are 5/8, I'll have that little bit of play to true it up while the epoxy's still fluid. Yeah, we'll get got a new toy, got the caulking, battery caulking gun. Give myself some marks to keep the glue between, and then without knocking this around too much, flip that guy onto here and screw it down. Alright, let's figure this set on wide open. Woo. Let's dial it back a little. pretty slick. I like how it auto retracts. Put an 8-foot mark on this guy. Who added all these obstacles? I got this all packed together with the screws. These boards are just holding the width over that 32-foot span. I ran around with the 6-foot level and did pretty good. Mind you, this perimeter is only sitting on, it's touching 5 piers height. So I have to go around and measure. Have to measure the gap. Write them on the piers with the Sharpie. That one's probably roughly an inch. This one's 4 inches. Some of the bigger ones, there's 2. These 2 on either side are pretty big. That maybe I don't take a different tactic, because you only have, I don't know, 5 inches of stem on that. But there's other ways to get them fastened to the piers. Anyway, here we're just going to measure square, see how it is, and then mark on the piers the outside, where the outside of the, or the, I guess the inside of this flange will be, and then measure in. So the hole's got to go, and then we'll probably have to tear it apart to get them out of the way to drill them all in, and we'll know the height that we got to drill by marking them out now. 36.5. I didn't even put a framing square or anything on it, I just put it together. So all these just have a single screw on either end, so it will be able to rack if I have to move it, but I'll probably have to use the winch on the 4-wheeler or the maul and tap away. Never used this stuff before, but it's $33 tube. I guess I got 20 minutes. To work with this stuff. So I got 5 holes drilled. These 3 were all touching, so they just bottomed out 6 inches. And then these 2 here behind me, on the outsides only, not in the middle. So then I'll set this board back on and just put some 1.5-inch screws in it to hold them square to each other. So I wanted to get 5 holes prepped. I don't know how far the tube will go, but I don't think it'll, I'll lose my straw for sure. A new one comes with each tube, so it's not a big deal if I get going and do the rest all in one day, because I can just keep the same straw going. But there's a little cap that'll go on that, so if there is some left over, I should be able to save it for the price of the stuff. I am glad I went with a 1-inch bit. As you can see, I can steer these quite a bit and let them tack up, be right in line with my mark. It does take more of this stuff though, having a bigger void in there. Anyway, I'll get that last one over there, and we'll set some boards up so they don't move while they're setting. Then I have to pack up and get out of here. It'll take me probably an hour to pack up what I have to do here. I'm gonna get another 5 of these 2x12s down up from up top and retarp the pile back up, because that's only about 1/3 of the pile, and get all these tools away and a little bit more organized in the tool shed. But we'll be back up in a week, and hopefully we get the rest of these set, and then with a nail gun, I'm sure these 3 beams and the 2 end crossers will go pretty quick popping nails. But we'll see. Anyway, we're making progress, and it's nice to be working with some wood here now. It's taken a while. See you next time. Welcome back. It's August 4th, another Friday off and up here. So I've been working all morning. It's 12:15 now, but it was more of the same stuff. So we have the entire perimeter back square level, sitting on all its epoxied saddles. I'm trying not to disturb it too much. I got these 3 back on top just to hold the width along the length while they set up. That manufacturer says 28 minutes, and it's good to work around again, and it's a 24-hour cure time, so I'll just be mindful of that. But yeah, we're about to get this perimeter it's gonna be 4 ply 2x12, and staggering the seams, so only an 8-footer here and at that end, and same with there, and then we'll go back to 2 16-footers. But we're gonna be losing 1.5 inches in the corners each way because I'll be building the ends at the same time, 4-ply, and keep coming in. We do have my uncle's air nailer, the framer nailer, so we got some galvanized nails and brought up my air compressor. It works off the generator. You saw me using it with the blowgun. So we're gonna set up a time lapse, try to get 4-ply all the way around, and then my goal is to get the last 3 saddles in the middle set, whether that beam is 4-ply by the end of the day. We'll see. Anyway, I'm just gonna get to this and you can watch the time lapse. Cut them a little tight. So we're running out of time here. It's 3:15. I usually like to try to get out of here by 3:30, get on with my weekend. But I really want to get the epoxy set, so I put, if you will, an 8-foot minus 4.5 inch at either side. I'm going to tack it to it and then bring them up to level with some boards off of here, figure out the heights off of these 3 piers, and then do the same thing I did on all the other ones, just drill the correct depth so that they're all the right height and epoxy them in, and I'll just leave the single length screwed to them while they set, and then come back in and finish all the plies the next time I'm in. So it's 10 after 4. We're really on overtime now. So I got the 16-footer across the seam of the other 2 that are underneath it. It's glued and nailed, ready to go. I just epoxied in that one and that one. But I'm gonna do this one a little different because it was 4.5 inches and the stem's only 6. I drilled in 2 5/8 pegs, cut some leftover sono tube, and I just had to drill in this one just a little bit, and it's to the right height, so I'm going to fill that with concrete. The kingpin's going to be sitting on this one, so I want it as strong as possible. And once we get the concrete in there, we're going to pick that up, set it back across here so we can screw those to it so it can set in the right spot. And then I'll probably do the same thing by putting across some spacers to get the center beam right in the center. This is the 3rd day working on these beams. These piers are a little high, so I got to clean out a chunk in the middle. Probably a 24-foot section needs to come down almost a 1/2 inch in the center of this. So we're going to try a new planer that's meant to work on the timbers later on in the build, but we need it now. So it's a 7-inch Triton planer. First time using it. So it's been another day working on the beams. It's August 13th, and this is where we're at. Figured you didn't need to see a whole lot of the same thing, so here we are. We're 4-ply all the way around. Staggered the seams like so. Sadly, that pier is correct. The rest of them were a little off, but this is what we had to do to make it work. We were a little too wide on our piers, but this was my solution because the center beam wasn't going to be sitting on a pier, so those are dock brackets, and they're all through bolted. And then you just saw me planing this down to get the boards were teeter-tottering on the center of it. And now we're just joist taping all the way around to keep the moisture out of here, because who knows how long it'll be to get back up here and do the next thing. But everything is nailed and through bolted. And I had to get creative because I did 4-ply, so that's 6 inches. I had the router out, routing. Everything out, but she's pretty sturdy. Anyway, thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time when we start laying the floor beams that are just over here and the joist. Try to get a platform on this here shortly. We're just finishing up for the day using this, I think it's called Resisto. It's the 4-inch version. I couldn't find the 9-inch, so we're covering this in 2 passes. There's a bunch of crap on the outside, so I'm just going to overhang that. Cut it off after. So to get 2 layers, it'll keep all the weather out of this, because as you know, this has been a slow process getting covered up. It will all get mostly covered up. The back deck will still see some weather, and this front sunroom will, but underneath the cabin won't see any moisture. Anyway, we're going 2 layers wide. We got rained on 3 times today, so that was kind of annoying, but we made some pretty good progress. Anyway, we'll see you finish up this tape job, and tools are all packed up pretty well. And we'll get out of here, and I'll see you next time when we start doing the floor.